Hey, hey guys. I really don't know how to start this video. I really don't even know if I'm gonna show this to anybody. May just be me just brain dumping right now. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I really don't know how to start this. So I guess I'm just gonna jump right in. I don't know. Maybe someone else out there needs to hear this too. I really don't know. But yeah. Total honesty, right? Yeah. Well, you guys have probably noticed I've been pretty quiet about my writing recently. I've just been really struggling the last few days, not with my writing per se, because whenever I do work on my book, it's fine. I'm editing it just fine, and things are working when I can get myself to do it, but I've just been feeling really, really down about just about mostly everything lately, and it's just, yeah, it's really hard to work on something creatively, like writing or whatever, because it's really hard to work on it when you don't feel like you can share much of it, which makes no sense because stories are meant to be shared, but that's kind of my point, I guess. I don't know, the last few days I've been wondering even, why am I doing this? And and it's like, I know why I want to do it because I love writing and I love the stories I come up with and stuff, but also at the same time, it's like, sometimes I feel like I don't want to do it anymore, and I know that's not really me talking, that's just whatever this is in my head right now, and I don't really know what it is. I mean, it could just be some byproduct of my depression, but it's also just, it's really hard to do it because, like, when I first started writing, I was just so gung-ho and I wanted to do it all the time. It's literally what I wanted to do. And I remember I used to talk about it more with, say, like, my family and stuff, because I don't really have any like in-person friends I can really talk about this with. So, but I used to mention it all the time, and then it's just, after a while I just noticed my family's incredibly busy, they have their own things and stuff, and so I get it when they don't want to necessarily listen to me talk about it, or they just, it's like I get a minute to say something and then they're off doing something else, and it's just, I get it, but it also, because I know that my family loves and supports me and they care about me in what I do, but at the same time, sometimes it really feels like they don't, and it just makes you feel really, really lonely, and it makes it really hard to even want to work on it, because you wonder, what's the point? You know, if the people closest to you don't even care, you know, why would anyone else? Why would some stranger on the street, picking up your book, And I've had that a little bit too with, some of you might know, I have a short story published in an anthology called Where Giants Fall. And I have noticed at least on the Goodreads reviews, I'm not like on Instagram or anything like that, so I don't know, but I have noticed on like reviews and stuff, I know it almost sounds really egotistical to me too, but I've never noticed a person say they specifically liked my story in the anthology. It's usually somebody else's, which I get it. A lot of the stories in that anthology are a lot more deeper than mine is, and I know it kind of sounds petty saying it, but the truth of the matter is I still feel this way, whether it's petty or not. But so sometimes I even wonder if I publish a novel, who would even care? Who would even write it? I mean, I write, because, like, I'm writing a Christian young adult fantasy series, but it's different than your average Christian fantasy, I suppose, because, like, I, like, have magic in it and stuff like that, and I go into more deeper, darker type topics and stuff. Not that it's immoral or anything, it's just deeper stuff that a lot of Christian fiction, fantasy less so, but a lot of Christian fiction just kind of skims the surface, and it doesn't really go much deeper into things, but I tend to write what I would call gritty Christian. So, you know, there's, like, especially, like, with the book 2 in this series, it definitely gets darker, and because I'm going to more the interior mechanisms of the way a character's certain head is working and stuff like that, and so it makes me wonder, you know, and the people closest to you don't really ask much, and if you do bring it up, they just, you know, they're too busy to really point out that if they care or not, and it makes you wonder then, why would somebody else, some stranger on Amazon or whatever, find your book? Why would they even care? I don't know, these are just thoughts and feelings that I've been having going around in my head for the last few days, and it's really hard to keep going, I guess, at times, because I started working on it. It's like, I love working on it, but then I quit, and then doubts come in again, and it's just like, why am I doing this? I know personally why I'm doing it, but to actually want to be a writer and to actually do it as a career, so to speak, it's really hard, and it makes me, you know, kind of want to give up sometimes, or just quit doing it, because no one's gonna care if I never publish those books, if I never even finish the series. No one's really gonna care, and it makes me feel like a fraud, because I do want to do it, but I also don't, because, and then it makes me wonder, like, am I only looking for outside validation? I know that's not the issue, because I love my stories just the way they are, even if nobody ever reads them, but at the same time, then, I want people to read them, and I want people to enjoy them, so then it starts all over again. It's an endless cycle I just can't ever seem to get out of, and I know I've had this before, and it just seems to be hitting harder than usual. Could be because I haven't written in over a month. I mean, it's August 14th. I've only written about 2 or 3 times this month, and in July I quit. I stopped writing around July 17th because I think I was in some major kind of weird burnout space, and I just couldn't do it. And now I'm trying to get back into it, and for some reason I still can't get into it, and I think this is mental block I have of just, I want to do it for me, but I wanted to do it for other people too, and it's hard to know whether people care or not. I mean, people are fickle, so it's not unusual that one day, you know, they'll just like a book, and then end of the day they'll just move on or whatever. I mean, people are fickle. The human race is fickle. But you only need to look at the history books and the Bible to know that much. But it's just, it makes me feel very discouraged, and I don't know if anyone else needs to hear this. I don't even know. I'm just saying stuff because I guess I'm just tired of feeling very alone in this. I mean, I know I have a few writer friends I can talk about this stuff too, but they're on the other side of the country, and they have their own lives too, and sometimes, you know, like when you're talking on email, it doesn't really come across the same way, and it just gets very, very discouraging, very lonely, and for some reason I'm not in the same place I was 9+ years ago when I first started writing, and I was just happy doing it for myself. Because even then, I was still sharing verbally with somebody in my life about it. And I'm not going to name this person, but I did have somebody I could use to talk to about it. And that person was just happy enough to listen about it. And they stopped being that way. And I'm not sure I've ever really gotten over that loss, because even if nobody else wanted to listen, that person was willing to, and then they stopped. And every time I've ever brought up my work or something again, all they want to know is if I'm getting published. And it just feels like now it's just a means to an end. Like, it's not doing it for the joy of it, or to share it with people. I'm doing it for an outcome of selling a book, which is kind of the point, but the sharing part is kind of the point too. I don't really know what I'm saying here, or even if this is even coming across the way I want. I'm just kind of brain dumping right now, so I'm just doing it verbally. But yeah, it just feels really discouraging, and I just feel rather lonely in all this, and it affects me. And because I do know if I have these feelings like this, my depression and stuff will latch onto that. And so it's like, at the same time, I'm trying to fight it, but at the same time, it's like, what's the point? Nobody even notices. Nobody cares. And it's just, does anyone care? And does that matter in a way? I mean, it's like, God's the one who gave me this gift and wants me to use it. But at the same time, I also then wonder, what's the point of a gift? If a gift of writing, in this case, a gift of storytelling, if nobody seems to want to hear? It's probably the same idea as like an actor trying to act in a movie and nobody watches it. I mean, what's the point of your performance then? I mean, that's kind of the whole point you're doing it. But, so, yeah. I'm not sure this is coming across the way I want. I'm not even sure about anything right now, let's be honest. But, yeah, I just want to have that place of joy, and I know you have joy from inside you, but this point is really hard to find, and I get it in like tiny spurts, tiny bubbles, and it's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, like I really want to finish editing my book, but I keep getting stuck in the same spot because I only managed to work for maybe an hour on it, and then I'm just back in that hole again, and sometimes I just don't really have the energy to crawl out, and I know that's bad. I'm generally a fighter, and I generally just keep pushing, but sometimes I just really get to a point where I'm just not sure I care anymore. I'm just not sure if I want to keep doing it. And even though at the same time I still want to do it, and I always have stories running around in my head and just characters and things like that and scenarios, and I have it in there and I love doing it, but it's very lonely. And I know a lot of authors will say in their acknowledgments that they had a huge team behind them and stuff, but I have a feeling if I ever write acknowledgments, it's gonna have like 2 people on it, if anybody. It's gonna have like God on it, and that's it, because while I know people are supporting me, it doesn't feel like it when you're in the middle of it. It feels like the scenario I kind of have in my head is that I'm alone on a battlefield, and there's tons of arrows coming at me, and I'm blocking them with like a shield and stuff, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere, and it feels like my army, so to speak, has left me in the dust. And in some cases I think to myself, that's not true. But then in other ones I look at it and I'm like, is it really? Is it really true? I mean, maybe I'm not fooling myself. And it's just very, very hard to keep going when all those arrows are flying at you and you have a shield. One shield and one sword. And you're trying to fight your way across a battlefield. And you have no backup. And it's really discouraging. And sometimes I just feel like getting shot with that arrow. Just get it over with. Just quit. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll stop for a while, but I always go back. I always go back to the writing, which is why I know it's something I intrinsically want and need to do. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to do it at the price of not being able to connect with anybody on some level about it, for whatever reason, in whatever capacity or way. And it's hard. And I don't know how to broach the subject with anybody else in my life, just because I know personally when I say something, I don't generally always come out with the right thing to say, as I'm sure is evident in this video, where I'm literally repeating myself over and over again, or just saying things that don't really make sense. And I don't articulate very well verbally, which is kind of weird that I started a YouTube channel, but whatever. Nobody's sitting here expecting me to respond in a certain way, though. I'm just talking to you guys, but through a camera. So literally, I'm sitting here just talking to a camera. So the pressure's kind of off a little bit, and I do have a really bad time talking one-on-one with people and trying to express what I'm truly feeling, because a lot of the times I lock it up, and because I know what I truly feel will not make people comfortable. It will not make them happy. I may say things about them that I feel and is truly what I'm feeling, but they get offended or whatever, because humans are humans and they're gonna do that. But so I don't really want to broach it aloud with anybody, because I feel like it won't help. It'll just get into some weird kerfuffle that I have no control over, and I'll just get upset and they'll get upset, and it'll just end up going back to the way it always was, where they might try for a few days to, connect on some sort of level about this, and then they'll get busy and they'll forget again, because we're humans and that's what we do. But it's not really an excuse, but it kind of is. And I'm just trying to be honest here, because like I said, I know my family loves me and they want the best for me, but I think sometimes, even when we love people, we have a really hard time expressing that to people sometimes, or maybe that's just in my case. I don't know, maybe some other people, I'm sure there are people out there that know how to express how much they care and how much they value a person or whatever. I'm sure there's people out there that do it a lot better. So I don't want people to think badly of my family because of this. It's because they're not bad people. It's just a weird situation, and I don't quite know what to do about it. I'm kind of at a loss here, and yeah, it's just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of feeling really, really lonely and wanting to cry a lot and stuffing it down because I don't know how to explain it to anyone else, or even if I should. So yeah, but I still want to write. I still want to publish a book eventually. I still want to do all these things, but at the same time, I wonder, should I? And yeah, it's just been really hard lately. I've been really struggling, and then I beat myself up over it because I'm not doing it. But at the same time, that doesn't help me. So it's a giant circle that just goes round and round and round, and this shows up every probably few months, these thoughts and feelings and stuff. So it's just really hard. And yeah, I just want to do the right thing, and I want to do the things that I love, but it's really hard when, like I said, I'm looking at that battlefield and I'm the only one out there fighting these arrows coming at me, and sometimes I just don't want to fight. And yeah, but in this scenario I tend to be fighting a lot, so yeah. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I really don't know what else to say besides going back around that circle again. But yeah, yeah, I don't know if I'll post this video or not. If you see it, obviously I decided it was worth at least showing to somebody. I don't know if somebody else out there is feeling this way. I know a lot of the time creatives, especially like writers, especially, I don't know really what it's like for like painters or sketch artists or anything like that. I'm sure you feel pretty lonely too, but at times. But I know with writing, it's especially hard. It's especially easy to feel this way because it's a very solitary thing. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll just try to talk more about my writing on this channel. I don't feel very like I can verbally talk about my stories sometimes. I think it's mainly because I've been in this situation for so long where if I do try to talk about it, it seems like nobody's interested. So sometimes I feel like I'm just holding back a little bit when I try to talk about my writing because I'm afraid of that rejection, that disinterest, the lack of people wanting to actually hear anything. But I think I'm going to try harder on that, so if nothing else, maybe I can just talk to you guys about this and talk to you about my stories, and maybe that'll make me feel less alone. I don't really know. I don't even know if I have that many subscribers on here that are that interested in my writing specifically. I know I've been doing just mostly book content lately, but it's because it's been easier. But I always set up this channel with the mindset of that it was supposed to be for books and for writing. So yeah, I'm gonna try a little bit harder to get more on the writing side of things rather than just the book side of things. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, if I post this video, it'll be a miracle. Either I will not be watching it again just so I don't have to see it, or I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So if you see a little bit less content on the channel, it's not because I've run out of ideas, it's because I'm feeling very, very low right now, and it comes and goes. Sometimes I feel higher, most of the time not. But yeah, I'm trying my best, and yeah, if nothing else, I hope somebody got some encouragement out of this. Maybe if you're feeling the same way, just know it does eventually fade. I even have to tell myself this. These feelings do eventually go away, and you can dive back into your art with a ton of enthusiasm and abandon, and it's great. But yeah, or maybe you can't talk about your artwork either because maybe people in your life don't care, or they're just disinterested, or they're too busy, or whatever. Just know that yeah, you can, if you feel like that, you can always feel free to talk about stuff in the comments. I know over online it doesn't come across the same way. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, I don't know, if nothing else, hopefully this video doesn't sink you further into depression. Hopefully it's encouraging that, yeah, there's other people out there that feel the same way, and I know they exist. Sometimes it feels really hard when you're stuck in the pit and you have sentient vines crawling over you and trying to kill you, because that got morbid really fast. Okay, yeah. Anyways, before I get even more morbid, I'm just gonna sign off here, and yeah. But that's kind of where I am right now with my writing. Hopefully this helps you guys in some way. Hopefully this helps me in some way. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And just know I will be trying to talk more about my writing now, because if nothing else, maybe it'll help me feel less alone. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, as always, and I'm glad you're here. Even if you're here for mostly just the book content, I do hope you stick around and see more of my writing stuff as well. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys, and thanks for watching. Bye.